And now we have a very special award to present. Will CEO Karen Goraleski please join me on the stage to present this award? On behalf of the ASTMH board, it's our distinct pleasure to honor Peter Hotez tonight with a special award recognizing his outstanding efforts to speak the truth about vaccines. As a signature leader within the society, including service as our president in 2011, it's only fitting that this society, his professional home and ours, publicly honors him. When far too many have stood back from the fire of those spreading inaccurate information about vaccines, Dr. Hotez has raced toward it. At great personal expense, he openly shared his family story at every opportunity with facts, candor, and a humanity that isn't often seen in the scientific community. As a pediatric infectious diseases physician who knows the extraordinary contribution that vaccines have made to child health and the terrible consequences of depriving a child of vaccination, I can think of no more powerful inspiration for our members and attendees as we kick off this international gathering than the incredible research and vaccine advocacy work of Dr. Hotez. Will Peter Hotez please come to the stage?
Thank you. It's a little few words.
Just to say thank you very much. This is the first academic society to give me a Purple Heart Medal for defending vaccines, and I really appreciate it. And I have a special guest here, my wife Ann, who's been a partner with me for forever on this, and together we raised Rachel. So thank you so much. Love you all. Bye-bye.
I do want to give a special acknowledgement to Ann Hotez. Peter Hotez could not do what he does if there wasn't somebody taking care of the shop 365 days a year while Peter is everywhere. So I should have thought twice about this and had her name engraved on the award. So thank you, Ann Hotez.
That's a kick, and you all know something that just shouldn't be happening at all, which is this opposition to vaccines is really one of the leading health crises of this decade. No one's done more to combat that than Dr. Hotez. Our next award is the Communications Award, which will be presented by Karen.
So Dr. Patricia Walker is co-chair of this Communications Award with me, but is not able to be with us tonight. So the Communications Award is a society-level award. It's right up there with the medals. It recognizes excellence in tropical medicine storytelling through the written word. Communications Award entries are judged on their ability to enhance the public's understanding and appreciation of tropical medicine research, clinical practice, and/or policy. This year, the award committee received 22 very solid entries for our panel of scientists and communications professionals to evaluate. Do you want to announce the winner entry? No? Okay. The year's winning entry is entitled "On a Remote Pacific Island. This doctor has revived a 60-year quest to eradicate a disfiguring disease." It was written by Martin Enserink and appeared in Science on July 20th, 2018. With support from the Pulitzer Center, Martin traveled to Papua New Guinea in May 2018 to meet with a Spanish doctor and scientist, Oriol Micha, of the Barcelona Institute for Global Health, to report on the doctor's work with yaws. Dr. Micha published a paper in Lancet in 2012 showing that yaws can be cured with a single dose of an oral antibiotic, azithromycin, given not only to infected people, but also entire at-risk populations. Since that time, there's been mounted a tireless campaign of science, medicine, and advocacy to eradicate yaws. If successful, it would be the first bacterial disease to be wiped out. Martin, please join us on the stage. Martin's article received a perfect score from the judges. This is the first for our Communications Award. Our judges found your writing and reporting engaging, informative, inspiring, full of great historical perspective, and also the system challenges that exist today, all of which are an important and realistic part of the Yaws story. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. This is really a great honor. I'm very excited. I was asked to say a few words. I'm very happy with this award. You know, for a science journalist like me, tropical medicine is a fascinating topic. It has so many ingredients that we as storytellers like. There's, of course, there's science, but there's also politics, economics, human behavior, ecology, interesting locations, people driven by a desire to alleviate human suffering, some real heroism occasionally, also some big egos, I should add. So as Karen said, my story is about Yaws, a bacterial disease that was targeted for global eradication in the 1950s. But the job was never finished, and Yaws is still with us today. But it's also very neglected. So neglected, in fact, that it's not on some of the lists of neglected diseases. As Karen said, for this story I followed a doctor and scientist, Oriol Mitjà from Barcelona, who has successfully tested a new simple oral treatment for Yaws on Lihir, which is a very remote island in Papua New Guinea. And it is reviving the eradication agenda. It's a hopeful, uplifting story, I felt, but I also learned that it's not a straightforward success story. Nobody at the moment seems very interested in funding eradication. And some question whether it's even possible to eradicate Yaws because there might be natural reservoirs. It's not quite clear. And on the ground in Papua New Guinea, I watched one morning a mass drug administration that didn't quite go as planned. Far fewer people showed up at the site than was expected, and the team that had to do the distribution and do a lot of scientific tests wasn't entirely up to the task either. And tropical medicine, I found, can also be quite a messy business. But Oriol Mitjà, the researcher I followed, gave me access to all sides of his work. And it all ended up in my story, which I really hope you will read, by the way. It's on the Science website, freely available. It also has a nice video. But the thought I'd like to leave you with is that as journalists, we are fascinated by what you do, but we're not your cheerleaders or your salespeople. We want to know where you succeed, but also where you failed, what you know and what you're uncertain about, and where you agree and where you disagree with your colleagues. It's all interesting, and it all helps, I think, to make a story more honest and more compelling to the reader. So maybe that's something to think about the next time you meet a journalist. I would very much like to thank the jury and the ASTMH. I'm very grateful to the Pulitzer Center for providing funding for my trip to Papua New Guinea, and to my editor, Tim Appenzeller, and to the many, many scientists and patients I had the opportunity to talk to. And finally, I'd like to thank my partner, Peter, for his unwavering support. Thank you.